The pick scrapes my lock, the deputy watching. Brooke streams live, grinning. We're going tomorrow. Movers idle. 10 o'clock looms. I clutch the old whistle. You don't get my keys. We're going tomorrow, Dad. I've sold your beach house, but she didn't know. It was never hers to take. I set the drill down and tell the ocean, measure twice, then speak once. The gulls knife the wind and the deck plank hums under my palm. I tug the loose baluster, run the screw in until the grain settles. Inside, the screen door yawns and slaps. Brooke's stride, quick and already in charge. Dad, bring your wallet, she calls. I'll handle the tip. Brunch at 12:30. I handle what bears my name, I say, wiping sawdust on my jeans. She laughs, bright as a TV host. Perfect. Then you can sign the check and I'll sign everything else. Her tote goes on the table, tabs in cheerful colors like a child's book. One tab flashes when the sun hits it. Move out. Saturday, 10 a.m. I keep my face still. Thumb wakes my phone. One step to the window for the light, one tilt to catch it square. Click. The thumbnail pops up with 11:22 a.m. stamped in the corner. I let the screen go black and slip the phone away. Brooke watches my pocket. You're going to lose that in the surf, she says breezy. I don't wade with evidence. She snorts. Evidence. She flips the tote closed. We're late. The rescue whistle hangs by the door on its hook. My fingers find it like they always do before a storm. Plastic, smooth from years. I press it once against my palm. Not yet. Pete leans over the rail from the walkway, a cooler strap on his shoulder. Captain Tom! You still lending me that grill for Friday? Kids are counting on hush puppies. Put me down for the grill and the spatula, I say. Brooke smiles without showing teeth. We'll see where Dad is by then. Pete blinks. Where would he be? Transitioning, she says. A lot to coordinate. Coordination I can do, I tell him. Friday's on. He nods, catches the tone. Copy that. He sniffs the air. Smell that charcoal? Somebody's jumping the gun. He tips his chin at Brooke. We do it right on Friday, like always. Like always, I echo. We step off the deck together. She sets a pace just shy of a march, checking the angle of the sun like it works for her. When we pass the mailbox, it rattles. She doesn't look. We'll swing by after, she says. I had your gate card reprinted. Easier. Easier for who? For everyone. The boardwalk gives under us with that soft beach town squeak. She talks over gulls and traffic, a stream of plans dressed as kindness. The manager at the pier knows we're coming. I told him you might be tender. He'll keep the table in a quiet corner. We'll make this smooth. I'm not furniture to be moved quietly, I say. She tilts her head. It's just brunch. It's never just brunch. Dad. She lowers her voice as a couple passes. People are trying to help. Don't make brunch weird. Then don't make home temporary. She stops, and for a beat we're both in the wind, the ocean talking louder than either of us. Then the smile slides back into place. Inside, I grab my sunglasses and the leather folder where I keep things that matter. Property tax receipts, the letter from the church kids after last summer's rip current workshop, a photo from the year the deck served as triage after the storm. The manila envelope sits beside it, a little worn at the corners. I leave both where they are, top edge even with the shelf. Ready? She says. Almost. I touch the whistle again, then let it hang. We're halfway down the steps when Pete calls. If you need me to sign anything for the HOA again, you know where to find me. Say when, I tell him. Brooke's smile twitches. We'll put everything in one packet, she says to me, like she's soothing a child. You won't have to think about it. I like thinking about it. Dad, you've been through a lot since Mom. Change is good. Smaller place, fewer headaches. You'll thank me. I thank people who ask first. We reach the truck. She clicks the fob from my side and then reaches into my breast pocket with a fluid, practiced move, fast as a nurse pulling a thermometer. The gate card comes out between two fingers. Hey, I say. I'll keep it safe, she says, sliding it into her wallet. Less to carry for you. Give it back, I say, level. She leans on the door, keeps her voice light. Don't be stubborn. Stubborn keeps the ocean from walking in. She laughs, but it's a laugh for the air, not for me. You're adorable when you do metaphors. Not a metaphor, I say. We hold there a second, a thin wire between us. She breaks it with a shrug and drops the wallet into her tote. Let's go. Reservations tight. Humiliation is loudest when you swallow it. I swallow it. Not because she's right, because I'm not spending my strength on doorways. I've learned to save air for the swim. Keys, she says, in my pocket. Wallet, in my hand. Good. She steps aside, as if she's graciously allowing me to drive my own truck. Pete, I call back over my shoulder, not looking. Friday's still on. Copy, he says, and I hear the cooler thump the deck in approval. Brooke's phone chimes. A calendar pings she ignores. Mine stays silent. I don't need pings. I have 11:22 a.m. sleeping in my pocket, and a tab that reads, Move out, Saturday 10 a.m. as plain as the tide chart on a storm day. Seatbelt, she says. I click it, breathe through the salt air, and watch the cottage in the side mirror. Cedar shakes, rebuilt baluster, the little hook by the door catching the sun. The whistle flashes once and goes still. She taps the dashboard with 2 fingers. We're going to be great at this if you let me help. I'm good with help, I say. I'm choosy about where it leads. At least we agree on breakfast, she says, and reaches toward my pocket again. I catch her hand midair with 2 fingers, gentle. Measure twice, I say. She smiles, wide and bright and for the world. Speak once. Then she slips free, pats the tote, and pockets my gate card. To keep it safe. I let it go, not yet. The hostess meets us at the door with a clipboard and a hush to her smile. The place is loud. Forks, gull laughs through the open windows. A blender whine. But the hush is for me. Miss Adler-Hale, she whispers to Brooke. We saw your note about a difficult transition. We've got you in the quiet corner. Brooke nods graciously. That's so thoughtful. He tires easily. I'm right here, I say. The hostess jolts like she'd bumped a chair. Of course. Clipboard scrapes across the stand. Follow me. We slide past tables of sunscreen and sunglasses. A charter captain in a sun-bleached visor lifts his glass. Cap Adler. Friday fry still on? I tip 2 fingers. Oil hot at 6. Brooke's smile is sugar. We may be transitioning by then. I'll update you. The captain's grin falters. The sound of ice in a glass seems louder than it should. Our corner is quiet enough to hear the ice machine breathe. The server drops menus with a practiced swoop. Y'all celebrating something? New beginnings, Brooke says. Eggs any style? Over easy, I answer, and let the menu stay closed. The manager materializes, all hospitality and angles. Welcome. Can I get you anything while you decide? And we'll keep this peaceful. His eyes land on me like I've already raised my voice. I'm ready to order, I say. Brooke speaks into a smile. We're just navigating a family change. Thank you for helping. I'll have the shrimp and grits, she adds, then to me. You'll love the grits. I'll order what I want, I say. The manager's hands skate down, palms out. Inside voices, sir. I let one beat hang, then. Inside rights, too. A couple at the window goes polite still. The manager softens his mouth and retreats like a tide line. The server stays, pen at the ready, eyes bouncing to Brooke for permission she doesn't have. Over easy, I say again, with toast. Of course. She writes it down like it's a concession one. Brooke unfolds her napkin and her voice at the same time. We'll keep this short. I've arranged a few things to make the week easier. Movers are flexible. Gate code request goes in tomorrow at 9. She taps her smartwatch. The screen lights. Gate code request, Monday 9 a.m. Who requested that? I ask. I did, she says cheerful. You don't have the right. Dad, she keeps her face aimed at the room. Don't make a scene. I'm asking a question, which is why I'm keeping this private, she says, in public. Everyone here is just trying to enjoy their Sunday. The server returns with coffee. Brooke takes both cups and places one in front of me like a hostess at a model home. Here you go. We'll get you settled in a place where the stairs are friendlier and my stairs are fine, and where you don't have to worry about storms. You'll thank me. I don't thank people who announce things at brunch, I say. Her lips keep the smile shape, but her eyes cut. Please. The charter captain at the other table deliberately looks away. The room accepts her story, the tone, the tote, the word transition, because it's easier than accepting mine. The server sets down plates. Brooke lifts her fork as if we're on camera. To new routines. I raise my cup and don't drink. To old promises. She lets out a TV laugh and aims it at the window, where the surf throws glitter at the pilings. My phone buzzes. A banner slides across. HOA, Pavilion Reservation, pending change. I tilt the screen away and thumb it dark. Brooke slides the check presenter toward her elbow and the authority toward mine. I'll take care of this, she says, meaning everything, the way some people use we. I'm ready now, I tell the server when she swings by. Brooke nudges the leather back. When he's ready, she says to the server, all velvet and control. I'm ready now, I repeat. My voice is still small enough it has to be heard. Sir, the manager says gently, arriving where he can be seen mediating. We want you both to have a good experience. Maybe keep it peaceful, I finish for him. I heard. I push my cup under his hand until he has to move it. And I'm finished. Brooke's phone chimes again. She swipes without looking. Dad, I know you don't like surprises. That's why I'm telling you now. We're going to go through things this afternoon, and I'll mark what's safe for the movers. I've put together a checklist. I have a list. She smiles like she's humoring a child. I'm sure you do. Brooke, I say, quiet. Did you call the HOA? I contacted Ruth, she says, sipping. It's standard. For who? For families navigating change. We're not a category, I say. She sets the cup down. We are, actually. We're a family where the daughter steps up and the dad doesn't make it harder. I look at the black coffee in my cup. Humiliation, swallowed, burns hotter than coffee. The server hovers again, pen a metronome between her fingers. Can I? You can bring the check, I say. Brooke's smile cuts wider. When he's ready, she repeats, bright enough for the room. The manager nods, understands the script, and cues the music a notch louder. The restaurant chooses a side, and it isn't mine. I catch the braid of my shirt against my collar and feel the cold edge of the whistle under the fabric. I press it with 2 fingers, then let it go. The hook by the cottage door is a mile away, but the habit carries distance. The charter captain stands to leave, pauses, then just lifts 2 fingers from his cap and goes. The room exhales around his chair. My phone buzzes again. Another banner from the HOA scrolls across the lock screen. Pavilion Reservation, pending change. I let it slide away without opening it and put the phone in my pocket, unread. She waits until the server sets down coffee and the murmur settles into that polite Sunday hush, like the room is holding its breath for a toast. Brooke clicks open her folder. Tabs bloom in neat colors. She smiles wide enough for the next 2 tables to see their good deed reflected back. We're going tomorrow, Dad. I've sold your beach house. The table behind me stops in the middle of a story. A kid's straw squeaks. I set my cup down so it doesn't rattle. No sale closes without me, I say. All cash, she answers, sweet as syrup. As is, movers booked, HOA notified. We'll keep this comfortable for you. She slides a sheet across the wood. I angle it, careful as a surgeon with a clamp, and read the top line. Buyer's occupancy timeline, Saturday 10 a.m. The header is bold, date crisp. Beneath it, boxes and arrows like a board game. One small box sits blank where a disclosure should live. I don't react. I don't point. I let my eyes move away as if I'm bored. Then I put my phone on the page for scale. Frame the header and date at eye level, and take a single picture. No flash, just paper and morning light. I slide the phone back into my pocket. Brooke is still smiling. It's time, Dad. Stairs, storms, The upkeep, you've done enough of that. I've arranged a gentle transition. This is a house where people learn not to drown, I say. Transitions here involve ropes and hands. Two women at the next table pretend they're not listening. The manager, already briefed, drifts closer with a neutral face. "Sir," he says to me softly, "we're happy to help your family keep this peaceful." "I'm being peaceful," I say. "I'm reading." I tap the top line with one finger. Saturday, 10. "Right," Brooke says brightly. "Gate code request goes in tomorrow. Movers at 9:30. Occupancy at 10. Smooth day. You don't control the gate," I say. She lifts her cup. "I take care of things so you don't have to." The server plants my plate like a peace offering. "Need any sauces?" "We're all set," Brooke answers for both of us. "We're not," I say. The server freezes, eyes caught between us. Brooke leans a fraction toward her. "He's overwhelmed. Thank you for your patience." I feel the weight of the rooms shift, subtle as a rip current. People let the stronger current pull them. It's easier than swimming cross. I let it pull and keep my feet under me. Brooke turns the sheet back toward herself, taps the margin with a pen. "We'll have the movers start with the porch. Less disruption for the neighbors if the big items go first." "Leave the porch," I say. "Dad, I'll tidy it before your guests." She blinks once, calculating whether that sounds compliant enough to keep the optics. The manager hears "tidy" and fades away, relieved. I reach for my cup again, and the edge of the page lifts. The blank disclosure box shows white as drywall. The tiniest absence, like a tooth missing from a gear. I set the page flat and let it go. My phone hums against the wood. A banner creeps up the lock screen, gray on gray. HOA Group, pending transfer code, status update. I let the vibration run its course and thumb the screen dark without opening it. "See?" Brooke says, nodding at nothing. "Everything's moving." "You're moving it," I say. "That's different. It's called leadership." "Leadership asks," I say. "Fraud tells." She sets her fork down with careful precision. "Do not use that word." "Then don't make me reach for it." A diner coughs. Somewhere a blender howls and stops. The sea pushes a cooler breath through the open windows. I catch my shirt at the collar and feel the cold edge of the whistle under the fabric. It stays quiet. So do I. "Let's keep to our list," she says, slipping back into the host voice. "You can box your keepsakes today. I'll tag the rest for the movers." "I box what bears my name," I say. "The rest doesn't move without me." She glances at the server passing by, then tilts her head at me. "Let's be gracious." Grace isn't a receipt. She presses her napkin into her lap like she's smoothing a headline. "This will be easier if you let me talk." "I've been letting you talk," I say, "all brunch. Because I'm trying to protect you. From my house, from yourself." The kid with the straw squeaks it again. Somewhere a spoon falls and stops the air for half a beat. I pick up a fry and look out at the pilings where we taught rookies to read water that looks calm and isn't. Being underestimated is a savings account if you don't spend it early. The server drifts back with the check presenter tucked under her arm like a warning. She sets it down at the edge of the table and looks not at me but at Brooke, then back at me as if to apologize. Brooke moves it to her elbow with a practiced, private flick. "I'll take care of this," she says to the server, "when he's ready." "I'm ready now," I say, and keep my voice the size of the cup. The server nods, confused, and leaves anyway. Brooke's smile doesn't move. "Here's what we're doing," she says softly enough that only the closest tables get to overhear. "Back to the cottage, a calm afternoon packing, movers tomorrow, and Saturday at 10, you'll be in a place with fewer stairs. I've already arranged a tour." "I'll be on my porch," I say. "Dad," she says, and the word lands like a hand on a shoulder you don't want touched. "Don't make this messy." "I told you," I say. "I'll tidy it." I slide a $10 bill under my cup and stand, slow and ordinary. "I'll tidy the porch before your guests," I tell the table, and the server glances at Brooke like she's waiting to see which version of me is approved. The study smells like pencil shavings and salt. I clear a rectangle on the desk, set the leather folder flat, and wake the old laptop. The cursor blinks like a patient heartbeat. Recorder's office, Dare County, the voice on speaker says when I dial. How can I help? Certified copies, I say. Conservation easement and life estate on the cottage at. We can't give legal advice, she says, gentle but firm. But we can tell you if records exist and how to request them. That's all I'm asking. She walks me through the portal. Upload driver's license. Select certified copy. Add notes. My hands do what they've done for years. Follow a procedure so the next person doesn't drown in my wake. I type precise and slow. Measure twice. A gull cries through the window while the page spins. Then the confirmation email lands with the soft clunk of a truth arriving. I open it and take the single photo I need. A line in bold midway down the message. Turnaround, 72 hours. 1 Q, 1 clock. I let the rest of the numbers blur. Sir, the clerk says. Got it, I tell her. Thank you. Your request is queued. You'll receive an update when copies are ready. That's all I needed. I hang up, breathe, and angle the screen so the 72-hour sits bright as a buoy. The rescue whistle on the shelf throws a small glint onto my notepad. I flip a page and write 3 words under the time. Measure, record, breathe. The phone rings before the ink dries. Dad, Brooke says, voice wrapped in sunshine. Quick thing. Title wants a note from you that you approve the transfer. I don't. You approve the principle, she says. Safety, simplicity, less clutter. I approve the beach teaching kids not to panic when water looks calm, I say. The rest is details. She exhales like she's tired of lifting something heavy. It's a one-liner. I authorize my daughter to coordinate the sale. Copy and paste. I can text it to you. I sign what I can live with. That's what I'm doing for you. No, I say. That's what you're doing to me. Dad, don't make this adversarial. We're on the same team. Teams ask. I'm asking. After you acted. Because you stall, she snaps, the sunshine cracking. Every time I try to do the right thing, you turn it into a quiz. Quizzes check understanding, I say. A sale needs consent. She catches herself and resets the smile in her tone. Let's not play lawyer. Just type the line and we'll be done. Movers are flexible. I'll even keep your deck chairs for the condo balcony. Cute, right? Cute isn't consent. Silence. I can hear traffic on the beach road, the distant whump of a tailgate. When she speaks again, it's the brand voice, the one that folds people like napkins. Okay, here's me being gracious. Send the note before lunch, and I'll tell the movers to hold off on the big items until tomorrow afternoon. Win-win. Lose-lose, I say, because I don't give away control of what I'm still responsible for. Responsible? She laughs without warmth. You're hanging on to a pile of wood with bad stairs. It's a place that kept people alive. So let it keep you alive by moving you somewhere safer. Steadiness isn't weakness. It's the start of a ledger. Her voice goes dry. Translate, no. Translate, I'll sign what bears my name and matches the record. Then I'll escalate, she says softly. I'll do the paperwork. You can either help or be difficult. You keep calling me difficult, I say, and I keep setting screws so no one falls through. That's a cute metaphor, she says, and hangs up before I can tell her it isn't one. The study returns to its small sounds. Fan whir, gull, the soft stutter of the fridge kicking on. I open the email again, magnify the single necessary truth. Turn around, 72 hours. The chain begins there. Not with a fight, not with a shout, with a queue number and a clock. I slide a clean sheet into the folder. Copy requests, filed, Monday 9:02 a.m. Under it I list what comes back when, a tiny schedule to match hers. I don't need to win today. I need to be ready when the tide turns. Pete's cooler thumps faintly on the boardwalk outside. Habit steps, a good sound. I almost call out, then let him pass. I'm not recruiting pity. I'm building proof. The phone buzzes again. Brooke, the screen says. I let it ring. On the 4th buzz, it drops to voicemail. A second later, another text. Brooke, you're overcomplicating. Send the line. Make this easy. I set the phone face down. The whistle winks at me from the shelf. I rest a finger on it, then take it away. Not yet. On the laptop, I make a folder. Easement / life estate. Cert copies. And drag the screenshot of the 72 hours into it. One file. One label. No clutter. My cursor hovers over share. I don't. Not until it matters. I step to the window. The dunes lean and the sea shows its usual lie, that it's the same as yesterday. It never is. I mark the calendar block for Friday morning, clinic at 9, APS at 3, then the word she hates, forum, at 7 on Saturday. The times tile my screen like windows in a sturdy house. The phone drops a new banner on top of them. You have one new voicemail. I don't press play. A moment later, the transcript preview spills a few words. Brooke. Movers confirmed for Saturday. The rest hides behind an ellipsis like a dare. I exit the screen, file the calendar, and close the laptop until the hinge clicks. I sit with the quiet. I let the air from the inlet move through the room and turn one page in the notepad. 3 more words go down in a tidy column. Ask, verify, record. The voicemail icon keeps breathing in the corner of the screen. I thumb it dark. I don't call back. The porch light has that summer buzz that means the bulb wants quitting time. I fit the key into the deadbolt and turn. It stops like it met bone. I try it again. The phone in my other hand rolls video. The on-screen timestamp ticks in the corner. The key chews at the pins and goes nowhere. A neighbor in a visor slows by the gate. Heard the new owners wanted the porch clear. You moving out early, Tom? I'm checking my lock, I say. Word travels. He says, half grin, half test. He lifts a hand and keeps walking. I try the knob, same story. My jaw locks before the door does. The camera catches the whistle swinging on the hook behind the glass like it wants to be useful. I keep the frame steady, put my shoulder into a softer try, then stop. No theatrics, just the sound of a key refusing what it used to accept. I lower the phone and call the number on the sticker under the knob. Barrier locksmith. A woman answers. My key won't turn in my own door, I say. No consent to any change. We can send someone to inspect, she says. If it's a repin or cylinder swap, we'll note it on the invoice. I'll need the invoice to say if a change is found. It will, she says. We send invoices by email. Send one either way. She takes the address and the name I've signed 1,000 times. Earliest check is tomorrow morning, she says. Tonight's crews are slammed. Log the request, I say. I'll record the attempt now. I hold the phone up again and try the key a final time. Slow for the camera, the timestamp ticking, the porch light giving its tired buzz. Metal complains. Nothing moves. Got it, I say, and stop the recording. The phone vibrates. Brooke. Don't force it. Locks are being standardized. Safety. A second text blinks in before I can answer. Please don't make this worse. Let the movers handle access. I type, changed without consent, then delete the question mark. Not with my consent. Her typing bubble appears, disappears, returns. It's temporary. Then, I'm protecting the property until Saturday. You protect with my permission, I send, not instead of it. No dots, just the cold shape of the earlier dots in my head. The locksmith calls back. We can't promise a fix without authorization, the text says, voice apologetic. But I can examine. Either way, you'll get paperwork. That's what I need, he hesitates. Sometimes families do these changes when they're making transitions. I'm not transitioning, I say, and leave it clean. I open my laptop on the porch rail, create a folder. Keys fail. Mun, 7 p.m. I drag the clip in. The thumbnail shows my hand, the key, the dumb refusal of metal. Behind me, the sea hits a different rhythm and settles. The neighbor from the gate circles back, slower this time. You good, Tom? Documenting, I say. He nods. Holler if you need a witness. He looks at the door. Doesn't look right. It isn't, I say. He moves on. I sit on the top step, angle the phone so the glare doesn't steal the screen, and press play for my own eyes. My hand steady. The key steady. The refusal steady. No dramatics to argue about later. My phone buzzes again. Unknown number. Reminder. Tomorrow 9:30 a.m. Locksmith window. Fine. Another buzz. Email. Barrier locksmith. Invoice. L227. Subject line says, attempted entry. Response required within 48 hours. I don't open it. The line alone is the clock I need. Brooke calls. I let it ring into voicemail. She texts instead. Don't escalate. We're on track, I type back. We don't lock me out of me. Dots. Nothing. Then, stop filming. I pocket the phone and stand, not because she told me to, but because I've got the clip I needed. I set the key on the rail, photograph it next to the handle without any extra code or number, just shape and place, then pick it up again and slide it into my pocket where it belongs. Pete's gate squeaks, a sound I could pick out of 100. He steps up the path carrying a paper bag with the smell of charcoal on it. Captain, he says, you need another set of eyes? I've got mine on record, I say. Tomorrow a tech looks at the cylinder. He looks from me to the door, reads the angle of things. Want me around when he does? I shake my head. Not unless they start arguing with the camera. He grins, then lets it fade. People been talking. You know how they are. They'll talk louder when they see what I've got. He shifts the bag and side-eyes the lane. Her SUV's been circling. Twice. I saw, I say. He exhales through his nose. If this keeps up, the whole block will talk. He taps the porch post with his knuckles, a knock without the trouble. Yell if you want me. I will. He heads off. I pull the phone again, glance at the inbox. Invoice, L227. Waits. The preview line still showing, response required within 48 hours. I let it sit unopened, the way you leave a buoy exactly where it's most useful. The porch light hums, and the whistle swings once in the dark glass of the door. The recorder's lobby hums like a fish tank. Fluorescence, muffled voices, a printer that never quite stops sighing. Pete signs his name on the narrow line and hands the paper back to the notary. Keep it to one sentence, I'd told him on the walk-in. You saw me try my own lock, it didn't turn. That's what I wrote, he says, and that I was willing to witness again. The notary adjusts her glasses. Government ID for the signer. Pete passes his card. She compares faces, nods, and turns the page toward a round steel tool the size of a river rock. Ready? She says. Ready, I say, even though I'm not the one being stamped. She squeezes the embosser. The paper gives a small, precise crack as the seal bites. Raised letters bloom pale in the fluorescent light. Not numbers, not a code, just authority pressed into fiber. Done. She uses a pen to circle the imprint's edge. Copy goes to your email, sir, she tells me. Original to you. To Pete. You can go. Pete taps the counter twice with his knuckle, our quiet thanks, and steps away. A couple in flip-flops shuffle behind us, whispering. New owners are touring at noon, the woman says. Ruth said it's moving fast. Ruth, the man answers. From the board? Friend of a friend, she says, and doesn't look up when their sand squeaks past us. The notary slides the original across. You want a folder? I've got one, I say, placing the page in the leather where it belongs. My thumb traces the embossed ring, feeling each notch like a coastline I know by heart. The clerk at the next window glances at a wall clock, then at me. Anything else? Just a sentence for my notes, I say. Your request window is still, she thinks, 72 hours pending. Expires Friday at noon. She stops, catches herself. That's not legal advice. It's weather, I say. I check weather. Out on the sidewalk, Pete walks me to the door. You sure you don't want me on the porch when you get back? Not yet, I say. Being seen with friends is a different beat than being seen with proof. He grins. You and your beats, he sobers. If she gives you a hard time. She will, I say. She's rehearsed. He squeezes my shoulder. Call if you want volume. I prefer accuracy, I say, but I know where you live. We part. The cord of the whistle rides up between my shirt buttons when I push the door open, then settles against my chest as I step into the bright. By the time I hit my street, the rumor has outrun me. Two neighbors are camped near the gate like extras in a commercial. Brooke stands with them, posture set to host, one hip leaned, tote open like a sales kit. A man in loafers and a golf shirt I don't recognize nods along. "Backup buyer," Brooke is saying as I come up the walk. "Cash, flexible close, totally painless." "Morning," I say. Her smile tilts toward me and then back to the man, like I'm a camera she wants to flatter. "Dad, this is Connor and Jenna. They adore the house." I look at the house. It's in no position to adore anyone back. The woman with the visor from the lobby appears like she took a faster path. "Ruth says the tour is at noon," she tells Brooke, performing helpful. Brooke slips an arm through mine without quite touching me. "We're just chatting. The real tour is Saturday after the move." "Nothing happens Saturday without me," I say. "Dad," she murmurs, private tone inside a public smile. "Don't scare the nice people." "Don't sell what isn't yours," I say. She doesn't flinch. "We're gathering options so you don't have to lift a finger." "I don't mind lifting the fingers that sign my name," I say. Connor clears his throat. "We were told it's an as-is deal. Fast and clean." "Fast is for storms," I say. "Clean is for title." Brooke's smile cools by 3 degrees. "Let's not do jargon," she says sweetly. "Dad's had a lot going on." The neighbor couple hover with the hunger of people who love a side. "Papers are already in," the woman murmurs to her partner. "Saw it on a text." "Papers can be wrong," I say without looking at her. "Happens more than weather reports." Brooke's phone chimes. She glances at the screen and recovers. "We're fine," she tells the buyers. "Just give us a minute." She draws me 2 steps toward the porch, out of earshot if you don't want to hear. "You're making this difficult." "I'm making this accurate. You know what the market's like? If we don't move, we lose leverage. I prefer truth to leverage." She sighs. "We are going to do this whether you enjoy it or not. You can stand in the middle of it, or you can help me make it gentle." Ramming a door with a smile is still ramming a door. She looks past me at the porch, at the baluster I set yesterday. "You think this place makes you strong. It makes me responsible," I say, and feel the paper in my folder settle like a weight that helps you walk straighter. She leans in, voice low. "Sign the one-liner and we'll stop this public theater." "You started it at Brunch," I say. "I started Mercy," she says, and the word lands wrong in my ear. "Mercy asks," I say. "Authority signs." Her eyes flash. "You'll sign eventually. Court, bank, whatever path. You'll sign. I still walk my own pace." She releases my arm and floats back toward the little audience. "We'll be in touch," she tells Connor and Jenna, loud enough for the neighbors to taste the promise. "Backup buyer status is strong." He shakes her hand. "Text me." They go. The neighbor couple linger like sea foam. Brooke turns to them. "We're moving along," she says. "Think of the community benefit. Fewer emergency calls from the stairs." "Fewer calls happen when people fix stairs," I say. She talks over it, friendly as a brochure. "We'll see you at the pavilion Saturday morning." "You'll see me on my porch," I say. She pivots to me with a smile that could cut fabric. "Dad, please don't embarrass yourself." "Embarrassment isn't a legal category," I say. "Consent is." The visor woman breathes in like she got the last word by proxy. "Well, we're excited," she tells Brooke. "Paper's already in," the man repeats, as if saying it makes it truer. I take that phrase and fold it on the same shelf where I put receipts I'll need later. Pete's line about being willing to witness sits next to it, under the fresh memory of the notary seal biting fiber. "Enjoy your day," I tell the neighbors, and step onto my own porch without pushing the door. Brooke lingers at the gate, stage managing a goodbye that leaves the impression she wanted. Her car door thunks shut, locksmith sticker crooked in my peripheral memory, rumor still hanging like damp air. My phone buzzes with the promised email, copy of Pete's statement, arriving somewhere in the background. I don't open it on the porch. I don't give the street a show. I let the gossip do what gossip does while the leather folder warms under my palm. Paper stiffens my hand. Her smile weakens it. I choose the paper. At the steps, the neighbor calls to his partner. Paper's already in. One more time like a bell. I let it ring and pocket the moment without comment. The lobby at Peterson and Cole smells like warm toner and lemon cleaner. Brooke gets there first and plants a smile at the desk. Ms. Adler-Hale, the receptionist says, tilting her voice towards sympathy. If you need elder guardianship info, we have a packet. Brooke's eyebrows lift like the offer was obvious all along. Maybe, she says, casual. Let's see how today goes. I set my leather folder on the counter. The loop presses its outline into the cover. The whistle sits there like a ridge under the skin. We're here to verify, not to invent, I tell the receptionist. She blinks and dials. Mr. Peterson will see you now. The conference room is all glass and quiet HVAC. Peterson stands, sleeves rolled to the wrist. Tom. He shakes my hand like I'm the client, not the problem. Brooke. Glad we can make this smooth, Brooke says, claiming the chair beside him. Peterson nods at the folder. Let's keep it tight. I slide a compressed packet across. One page listing the items, not the items themselves. Keys fail clip exists. Invoice issued. Neighbor witness denial. Notarized. Recorder request placed. 72-hour turnaround. That's the spine. Good, he says. We ask escrow to pause until title can be verified. Brooke laughs lightly. Escrow doesn't need to pause for Dad's feelings. It needs to pause for facts, I say. We'll let the process decide, Peterson says, palms down. He opens his laptop. We'll submit a request to the title office and copy escrow. No accusations, just verification. Perfect, Brooke says. While you do that, let's also address his capacity. He's been... No, I say. She swivels toward me with the same smile she used on the hostess. Dad, the point is to make this safe. If you can't keep up, I keep up fine, I say. I set the steps you rush me down. Peterson types without looking up. We'll stay on the pause for now. Why slow a sure thing, Brooke says. Cash buyer. As is, he's overwhelmed. A PS is in the loop. If you doubt capacity, verify it. Don't fake it, I say. Her smile tightens. That's why I called a PS. They'll help. They'll check, I say. Checking isn't the same thing as helping. Peterson taps a key and the email window fills the screen. He reads aloud, clean and neutral. Request to escrow. Please hold disbursements and possession until recorded encumbrances, if any, are confirmed. Brooke leans in. Encumbrances? Easements, leases, life estates, Peterson says. Anything that keeps title from being clear. Dad's making noise, she says. He's attached to railings and old stories. Old stories keep people alive in storms, I say. They teach you what not to grab. Peterson hits send. The room goes very quiet, the way it does when you wait for a breaker to trip. Brooke crosses her legs and reclaims the floor. If you're pausing escrow, then we need to move on competency so we can unpause. The court can act faster than emails. Courts don't like being props, I say. Courts like safety, she counters. They like accuracy first, I say. She turns to Peterson. What's the form called? I'll start it. Let's not, he says. We don't file to win optics. Her phone chimes. She ignores it. Eyes on the laptop like she owns the cursor. Peterson's inbox blinks. A new line populates. Subject bar gray. He opens it and turns the screen so we can all see the single sentence we need. Escrow status. Paused. Clarify within 24 hours. I feel it in my ribs like the first clean breath after a bad rip. There, I say. Brooke's smile doesn't move, so we clarify. Great. Who do I send the guardianship packet to? The receptionist's whisper slides back through my head. Guardianship. A little word that takes keys and calls it kindness. Peterson raises a hand. We don't mix paths. If capacity is in dispute, we verify it medically, he says. No fishing expeditions. He forgets appointments, Brooke says, sweet and poisonous. He hoards. He won't let go. I remember dates better than you remember ropes, I say. Peterson angles back to me. Tom, Tell me what you need. Keep the pause. Force a live verification of any recorded encumbrances before anyone rolls a dolly onto my porch. We can, he says. I'll suggest HOA host a brief public lookup at the forum. Forum? Brooke echoes. No, no. That becomes a spectacle. Spectacle has rules, I say. Your live streams don't. She smiles too wide. Your paranoia is showing. My preparation is, I say. Peterson's paralegal knocks and slips in a single sheet. He scans it. Escrow's auto mailer will send a follow-up with a countdown. In the meantime, I want your packet scanned. One screenshot of your confirmation lines, nothing else. Copy, I say. Brooke's voice goes soft. While you two play with scanners, I'll be at APS. They move faster than spreadsheets. This isn't about speed, I say. It's about alignment with the record. She leans in, tone of velvet threat. The record can be updated. The past can't, I say. Peterson closes the laptop halfway, signaling a pivot. Here's the plan, both of you. Escrow is paused. We'll provide limited, necessary materials. Tom, you'll avoid commentary outside this room. Brooke, you'll stop calling vendors and security until verification is complete. Or what? She says. Or a judge won't love the look of it, he says. Nobody wants that. Brooke's smile recalibrates. Less host, more hawk. I'll do what keeps him safe. Keep me accurate, I say. She turns back to the screen. Fine. Clarify within 24 hours. We'll see your accuracy outrun a deadline. It will, I say. Peterson stands, reading the room. We're done for today. We walk back through the lobby. The receptionist slides the guardianship brochure an inch toward Brooke, eyes bright with helpfulness. Brooke pats it like a pet and leaves it right there. Dad, she murmurs as we hit the sidewalk, the court might move faster than your paperwork. I tap the binder once, a knuckle against leather, the whistle's outline under my hand. Even a pause feels like breath. I'll use it. My phone buzzes. Escrow, clarify within 24 hours. I let the line glow and sink, a tide mark no one can argue with. The fellowship hall smells like coffee and floor polish. Fluorescence buzz, the kind of sound that makes you keep conversations honest. Pastor Reyes meets me by the folding tables, sleeves rolled, tie loosened like he wants to look like a neighbor first and a pastor second. Tom, he says, warm handshake. You said you needed a place where people can look each other in the eye. Somewhere rules beat rumor, I say. He nods toward the bulletin board where bake sales and lost dog notices try to outshine each other. Saturday night we host a storm prep Q&A. We can add a few minutes at the start. Not a trial, a look. A look is all I'm asking. I put the leather folder on the table, not opening it, just letting its weight speak. The whistle comes out of my shirt collar when I bend and taps plastic on wood. Habit. I touch it, leave it. Two former rescue kids, now adults with their own car keys, wander in from the gym door. Coach, one says, because some nicknames don't retire. We still do the rip current drill? Every summer, I say. You remember the rule? Don't fight the water, he says. Angle out. Breathe. Pastor Reyes smiles. That sounds like more than surf. Brooke's text lands. Skip the spectacle. We'll handle this privately. I watch the bubble form, shrink, return. I answer with a line that doesn't need punctuation. Public rules beat private spins. He gestures to the chairs. Tell me what you need Saturday. A space that's not owned by a buyer or a brand, I say. A place where a phone can point at truth without a soundtrack telling it what to be. We can keep it quiet, he says. We can ask folks to keep questions to weather and safety. And when you hold paper, you read one line, not a speech. That's exactly my speed. The gym door opens again. A group of teenagers stack chairs for youth group, chatter bright, the scrape of legs on linoleum, a steady metronome. A mother I know from storm season peels off and squeezes my arm. You taught my Maya to float when she panicked. She did it last month in a riptide. I watched her get her breath and angle out. It was. I thought I'd lose her. Her eyes shine, then dry quick. We'll be watching Saturday. That's the plan, I say. The other alumnus, the quiet one, adds, You want us to show those photos from training? The ones on the deck? Bring one, I say. No speeches. One photo, one line. Brooke again. You are not dragging a church into this. I type back. Rules live in churches. So does witness. Truth travels fine without your escort. Pastor Reyes angles his head. Your daughter? She thinks privacy is safety, I say. Sometimes it's just better lighting for a bad act. He doesn't flinch or play judge. We'll host the look, not the fight. If anyone tries to grandstand, I shut it down. Fair. I pull my phone and open the calendar, set it on the table so we're both looking at the same week like it's weather on a chart. Stack is tight, I say. He leans in. I slide a finger to each block, one by one, speaking them like coordinates so they stick. Friday, 9 o'clock, clinic. Quick capacity check. Friday, 3 o'clock. APS, they do their boxes. Saturday, 9:30, locksmith window. Saturday, 10 o'clock. The line she keeps chanting, move out. Saturday, 7 o'clock, your forum. He nods at each, not chasing details, just absorbing the rhythm. 5 beats, he says, rising. Water gets louder near the bar, I say. So do people. He taps the phone with one finger. You'll keep it to one line per paper on Saturday? One line. Then we look up what exists. No codes, no paragraphs. Good, he says. We're not a court. We're a room where neighbors decide if they're seeing spin or seeing record. The teens push the last stack of chairs into alignment. One of them tosses me a grin. Coach, you still carry that whistle? Only to start drills, I say. What about to stop bad ones? The other kid asks, bolder. I smile. Same tool. My phone buzzes again. Brooke. Cancel the forum. I'll tell people you're resting. You'll thank me later. The kindness in her text blisters like a shoe that looks right and rubs raw. Being believed isn't luck. It's habit you build. I don't answer. Pastor Reyes reads my silence with the accuracy of a man who's sat with too many rooms full of words. He looks from me to the folder to the calendar and back. On Saturday, he says, voice steady, you'll come with what you have. We won't turn this into a circus. We'll keep it clean. That's how you save people, I say. Clean and ordered. He glances toward the gym. I'll ask the alumni to speak one sentence each. Specific detail, no character attacks. If your daughter comes, she gets the same rule. She'll come, I say. She likes rooms that look like cameras. We have cameras, he says. They're called eyes. We both smile because the line lands without needing polish. Outside, the sky has that early evening flattening that makes the ocean look like one sheet of hammered metal. We step onto the sidewalk and the air tastes like rain 2 towns over. You don't need to convince me, he says. You need to show Saturday what exists. I can do that. He holds my gaze. Bring what you have Saturday. We'll witness what we see. I'll bring exactly that, I say. Back home, I set the phone and the whistle beside the laptop and open the week again so the blocks fill the screen. Friday, 9 o'clock. Friday, 3 o'clock. Saturday, 9:30. Saturday, 10 o'clock. Saturday, 7 o'clock. They sit in clean lines, the way a coastline makes sense only when the lighthouse lamp finds it. I close the laptop on the stack, keeping the shape of the week pressed under the lid. The export bar creeps like a tide that respects no clock. I set the laptop on the study table, close the blinds to kill reflections, and pull up the raw file. The night of my wife's memorial. The clip Brooke carved her soundbite from. I scrub to the spot and watch myself say it again. Whole. I can't do this forever, so I built systems that outlast me. My finger rests on the whistle beside the trackpad. I don't lift it. I keep my hand steady and click export. The dialog blooms, settings locked, and the status bar starts its slow swim. The phone buzzes. Brooke. Dad, confirm you've sent clarifications by 5 p.m. The board needs them. Clarifications of what? Context, she says. The part you left out in public. I didn't leave out anything, I say. You cut it. Editing is telling the truth cleanly. Context isn't a scissors. Stop cutting. She exhales. If you keep fighting optics, you'll lose reality. Send the line I texted. Approve the transfer. I'll send what exists, I say, not what you wish. A cardboard thud shakes the porch, then a rap at the door. I mute the call, cross to the entry, and open to a delivery driver balancing a box. Return label for, looks like computer equipment, he says. Pickup scheduled Saturday at 10. My name's on the sticker. The corner shows a bold, return by Saturday, 10 a.m., like a taunt. Not mine, I say. Left as porch directive, he says, shrugging. Want me to leave it? You can leave it on the mat, I say. I'll handle returns that are mine. He sets it down, the cardboard scraping the doormat, and goes. I lock the glass door and leave the box where it sits. Let it be a prop in her theater. I'm busy with a stage that keeps records. Back at the desk, the export ticks past 68%. I uncoil a small charger, the kind with a camera tucked inside, and plug it into the outlet near the entry table. The lens faces the doorway. No dots, no chime, just a steady look. I test the angle with my phone screen. The frame catches the door, my shoes on the mat, the hook where the whistle hangs when I'm not wearing it. Brooke calls back before I can unmute the previous one. I answer, keep my voice dry. You just refused a return, she says. That was to help. Help returns what it took, I say. You're off topic, she says. Send the line by 5. Title needs your confirmation. 1 sentence. I'll send 1 sentence when I'm done, I say. Done with what? Truth, I say. She laughs, low. Truth is flexible. Not with a checksum. What even is that? She says, and the smile in her voice thinks it's one. A way to show you didn't cut the part where I said so I built systems that outlast me. Dad? I end the call. The export crawls through the last minute. Heart pulse. Truth prints cleaner when your hands don't shake. I keep still. The laptop pings and flips to a summary panel. Under Export Complete sits the single cue I need, a block labeled checksum, the string plain on the screen. I hold the phone steady and take the shot. No flourish, no extra codes. One proof, one breath. I say the string out loud so it lands in my head, then close the dialogue without copying anything else. The phone lights again. Email from the HOA. Clarifications due by 5 p.m. I read the line, don't open the message, and let it recede like a buoy bobbing where it belongs. Brooke's text. I'm 10 minutes out. Let's talk at the door, not on a stream. Door works, I type. No streams. I set the laptop where I can see the entry and check the charger cam angle once more. The lens is small, glass and a plastic smile, and the frame shows the whole threshold. I put the whistle on its hook where the camera will catch it if it swings. Her SUV glides into view, a shadow across the blinds. Then steps, then the clean knock of someone who thinks she owns the sound. Don't film me, she says as soon as I open the door. Then don't perform, I say. She composes a softer face, one for the camera she's decided isn't there. I want to make this easier. Stop saying that, I say. It's an adverb you use for control. I brought you folders, she says, lifting a tote, color-coded. All you have to do is sign the top sheet and we... No. She tilts her head, voice dropping to private. The court will move faster than your hobby videos. APS will wonder why you're obstructing. Ruth wants to know you're cooperative. Cooperative with what? I say. A sale that can't deliver title? A lock I didn't authorize? Don't push me, she says, and her eyes flash the real line she won't say out loud. Say it here, I say, calm enough to hear my own breath. She leans closer. If you make this public, you'll regret it. Everything you've done has been public, I say. Brunch, the gate, the notes you drop with strangers. That's called transparency, she says. Adults do it. Adults read the whole sentence, I say, not the part they like. Her smile returns with the perfect ratio of pity to poise. Send the line, she says. Approve the transfer. We're 5 minutes from the deadline. I'm not a deadline, I say. I'm a person with possession. She glances at my pocket, the little triangle where the whistle cord tugs my shirt. You look unstable when you play hero, she says, barely above a whisper. I don't move. I look like documentation. The camera hums its silent nothing. She shifts, gestures to the box at her feet. At least let me take care of returns. You're drowning in old wires. Nothing drowns in my house, I say. She huffs a laugh, the kind you give a stubborn child. Send the line, she repeats, and turns away like the argument is over because she wishes it so. I don't follow. I close the door. The charger cam keeps its quiet watch. At the desk, I cue the upload of the uncut export to a clean folder and name it uncut underscore memorial underscore full dash export underscore with underscore checksum. I drag the single screenshot into the folder with it. Then I lock the screen. The phone shows a badge, one new voicemail. The preview reads the line I said in my own head. Locksmith window, Saturday 9:30 a.m. I don't press play. I leave it to breathe on the glass. Ruth McAllister keeps her office like a chart table. No clutter, everything squared to an edge. The HOA seal on the wall looks heavy enough to anchor a small boat. We're not a court, she says, hands folded. We're a board, but we can host a look. That's what I'm asking, I say. A room with rules is a room I can breathe in. Brooke leans into the second chair and gives Ruth the smile she sells to committees. We appreciate you keeping this dignified, Ruth. Dad's overwhelmed. We're just trying to make a safe transition. I'm not overwhelmed, I say. I'm asking to verify what exists before anyone rolls a dolly. Ruth's gaze moves to my leather folder. She knows weight when she sees it. The loop leaves a faint mark in the cover. Under my palm, the whistle is a ridge, quiet and patient. A board member in a polo clears his throat. Parameters matter. You want a, what did you call it? A live county instrument lookup, I say. On the projector. You type my parcel. You press search. We see recorded encumbrances. We don't argue definitions. We see what's there. Brooke's smile stays pasted. And then we move forward. Saturday at 10 we're already scheduled for. Ruth cuts a hand. Possession timing is a separate question. We're talking about the forum. I slide a one-page dossier across. No attachments, just a spine. 1. Keys fail recorded. 2. Witness statement notarized. 3. Recorder confirms. 72-hour copy window in progress. 3 lines. No extra codes. I'll bring exactly what we need. Nothing else. Ruth thinks like a pilot. Checks a windsock. If we do this, it's clean. No speeches. We will read out any instrument numbers we find, not opinions. That's the point, I say. Brooke turns to the board member. This is becoming a spectacle. We should keep family matters private. Spectacles don't have rules, I say. Forums do. The clerk pokes her head in with a tablet. Agenda slot free Saturday night? Ruth nods. Put a line on the agenda. The clerk taps. The tablet screen flares, and she tilts it so we can all see it. I clock the one cue I need. Agenda, Saturday, 7 p.m. Public forum, live title lookup, the single line crisp under the header. I let the rest of the page blur. We're set, Ruth says. Live lookup, Saturday, 7 p.m. Bring what exists. The board member exhales through his nose like a fisherman who just saw weather turn in his favor. I feel my ribs loosen. Brooke's voice drips sugar. If you must, fine. But we all agree this is purely informational. Nothing stops Saturday morning from happening. Ruth lifts one brow. Nothing happens Saturday morning without clarity. Escrow is paused. We're not in the business of refereeing a messy handoff at a gate. Brooke's smile gets thinner. Noted. The clerk lingers at the door and gives me a quiet aside. Eyes apologetic. You'll have 10 minutes Saturday, Mr. Adler. That's all the board will allow. Tight, I say. 10 minutes is 10 minutes, she answers. We'll start on time. Then I'll finish on time. Brooke rises. This is all incredibly theatrical. It's procedural, I say. Whatever makes you feel in control, she says, holding her tote against her hip like a shield. Ruth stands, signaling the meeting's end. Mr. Adler, keep it lean. Ms. Adler-Hale, Please refrain from inviting movers or contractors to the property until after the forum. Brooke's eyes flash, then shudder. Of course, we're responsible people. Be responsible Saturday, Ruth says evenly. We'll see facts. We step into the hallway. The board member passes us with a nod like he's measuring my pace. The lobby smells like copier heat and salt from coats that came in out of the wind. I tap the folder once. The whistle under the leather presses back. Outside, the evenings turn gold and flat, the kind of light that makes everybody pose. Brooke can't help herself. She angles toward the cottage end of the lot, lifts her phone, and snaps a clean porch selfie with the dunes behind her. She types fast, the way you do when you've rehearsed. I don't need to read her screen, but my eye catches the bold starter before she scrolls. All set for Saturday. Forum equals rules, I say, not a caption. She slides the phone down and makes her voice gentle for me, loud enough for the parking lot. Dad, I'm proud of you for meeting institutions halfway. I'm not meeting halfway, I say. I'm meeting where records live. She moves closer, drops the public tone. You're going to embarrass yourself. I don't embarrass around truth. Truth is whatever the room believes, she says. Then we're picking the right room, I say. She scoffs. 10 minutes won't save you. They're enough to read a line, I say, and you've spent a week editing lines. She opens the car door, then pauses with one last bright look for an imagined audience. I'll bring coffee Saturday morning, she chirps. For the movers. Bring a chair for 7 p.m., I say. You'll need somewhere to sit. Her smile freezes. She gets in. The SUV backs out with the kind of smoothness that feels like a performance note. I walk to the HOA lobby to confirm the agenda line with my own eyes. The clerk has printed a small agenda card for the corkboard. She pins it with a neat, satisfying click. Saturday, 7 p.m. Public forum. Live title lookup. That's all I want the room to hold. The board member steps past me again, jacket over his arm. 10 minutes, he reminds. I only need 9, I say. Bring what exists, he repeats Ruth's line, testing me. I will. On the sidewalk, the air tastes like it's thinking about rain. I breathe it in and feel something loosen that hasn't loosened in days. Heart pulse. A room with rules is a room I can breathe in. Back at the cottage, I don't open Brooke's post. I don't need to watch her caption try to outrun my clock. I set the folder on the porch table and, once, just once, tap the leather where the whistle sits beneath. Then I let my hand fall and listen to the wind move around the eaves. My phone pings one more time with the auto mailer echoing what I already saw. Agenda posted. I leave it unread. Down the street, someone laughs like the beach gave them a good line to end a story with. We're not done. Ruth's words stay clean in my head. Live lookup. Saturday, 7 p.m. Bring what exists. Brooke's selfie lives in my peripheral vision like a reflection on a dark window. I clock it, say nothing, and close up the porch. The clinic lobby smells like sanitizer and citrus. Reception glass cuts the room into polite squares. I step to the window with my ID. Morning, the receptionist says. Her badge reads SAM. Do you have a healthcare proxy we should list? Is your daughter accompanying you? I'm solo, I say. Okay, anyone you'd want as proxy on file? List self for today. Her label printer chirps. You can list yourself to make decisions unless a doctor determines otherwise. Good, I say. I make mine. She circles a line on the intake with a blue pen. Decision maker, self. The printer spits a bracelet. She snaps it gently onto my wrist. The adhesive is cool. The ink is crisp. Over her shoulder, the check-in monitor flips to a blue tile. 9 a.m. I let that one fact land. Time, place, sober as a buoy. A nurse opens the door. Thomas Adler? Tom, I say. Vitals, scale, a cuff squeeze that climbs my arm like a slow tide. The nurse watches the numbers, not my face. Any memory concerns? She asks. Just names at cookouts, I say. They come back by dessert. She smiles without looking up. Happens. In the exam room, Dr. Singh enters with a tablet and an expression like she's here to measure, not to manage me. The cord of my whistle peeks from my collar. I leave it there. I'm Dr. Singh, she says. I understand you requested a capacity evaluation. Orientation, judgment, recall. I requested accuracy, I say. It uses those. Why now? My daughter's moving fast with terms I didn't approve, I say. I'd like something on record that says whether I can consent. Fair, she sits. We'll do a brief exam. If findings support capacity, I'll issue a letter to your attorney this afternoon. She starts simple. Name, Thomas Adler. Date, Friday, I say, and give the whole date without prompting. Where are we? Dare County Family Clinic, Route 158, across from the bait shop that sells coffee they swear isn't bad. Her mouth almost smiles. Count backward by sevens from 100. I go 93, 86, 79, 72, 65. I stop there. Want the coastline, or is that enough? Enough, she says. Now 3 words. Shell, ladder, radio. Repeat them. Shell, ladder, radio. She asks me to draw a clock face, hands at 10 past 11. I draw it clean. Tell me what you'd do if you smelled gas at home. Open doors, kill the breakers, call the gas company from outside. Why outside? Because sparks and bad air don't mix, I say. She taps her tablet, eyes on me. Now recall the 3 words. Shell, ladder, radio, I say. She nods. Any trouble paying bills on time? No, I say. I teach teenagers how not to fight water that looks calm. I can keep a calendar. Medication mix-ups? None. I still line up Monday through Sunday like it's equipment on a dock. She looks at my hands. Tremor? Only when I'm mad, I say. Not today. She flips a page. Your daughter raised concerns to Adult Protective Services. A PS is scheduled this afternoon, I say. They can look at a refrigerator and see if there's food, but they can't read a deed. I read both, she says evenly. I don't do deeds, but I do cognition. That's why I came. She lowers the tablet to her lap. On today's exam, your orientation, memory, and practical judgment appear intact. I want to run a quick clock drawing scan through our standard rubric. Go ahead. She stands, pins the page to a template like a teacher, notes once, then returns. I'm comfortable writing, no evidence of cognitive impairment impeding consent. I'll draft a formal letter to your counsel by end of day. Peterson, I say. He's expecting it. I'll route it through our secure portal and fax. We still fax, she says dryly. Me too, I say. It keeps people honest. She looks at the whistle cord. You were a rescue instructor? Long time. You still carry the whistle? Only to start drills, I say. She types. Today's plan. Letter to Peterson by 5. You'll get a portal summary later. Do I need to sign anything now? No, she says. Your visit notes will show evaluation performed and letter pending. Her nurse appears with a handout I don't take. Dr. Singh palms it back. He doesn't need that. I stand. Thank you. In the hallway, the clock over the desk still shows 9 o'clock because someone hasn't reset the screen since early check-ins. It doesn't matter. The monitor caught it once, I caught it too. At the curb, my phone buzzes. A voicemail from Peterson. Send me a 1-line summary now. I'll incorporate it into our file and flag escrow that capacity evaluation is in progress. Letter by end of day will be enough. I text him. Exam done. Dr. Singh will issue no impairment impeding consent by EOD. He thumbs up, reacts then. Good. Don't send drafts. Wait for letter. Brooke's text lands on top of his. APS. At 3 p.m., they're prioritizing. Do not stress the worker. Be agreeable. Then another. This is for your own good. Capacity and safety go together. Capacity isn't a permission slip for you, I type. You're being cruel, she replies. This is hard on me. Being spoken for is harder, I send. A pause. Just cooperate, she answers. If you act confused, they'll help. I'm not confused, I tell the air, because saying it out loud makes it enter the room. Home smells like salt and coffee grinds. I set my folder on the kitchen island and call Peterson's office. Voicemail. Exam complete, I say. Dr. Singh says no evidence of impairment impeding consent. Letter by end of day. I'll forward as soon as it lands. I hang up. The house is quiet in that useful way where you can hear your own steps. Heart pulse. I don't fear tests. I fear being spoken for. I open the fridge. Food stacked, labels facing. Tuesday soup, Thursday fish, a neat row of eggs like a classroom roll call. I close it and straighten a magnet so the clinic card sits square. My phone buzzes one more time. A PS. Wellness check today, 3 p.m. Reply Y to confirm availability. I don't text Y. I pick up the white magnet shaped like a tuna and pin the message to the steel. Old school. So the line sits in the kitchen like a tide table you can't argue with. I don't reply. I let the time hang there where I can see it and breathe. The phone sits on speaker beside the whistle on the kitchen island. I line up a notepad, write Peterson's name at the top, and draw a small square waiting for one word. Released. Fraud operations, this is Marla, the voice says. Can I verify I'm speaking with Thomas Adler? Tom, I say, and give the last 4 digits, the street my wife used to correct on envelopes, the name of the first dog we rescued from a king tide and kept for 10 years. Thank you, Marla says. Your daughter reported concerns about unusual activity. She reported control, I say. I'm reporting identity. We'll proceed carefully, she says. Security questions first. I answer each, steady. Birth month. Last wire amount. The bank where my father opened my first account. Marla's typing is a soft rain in the receiver. Last question, she says. What's your intended transaction this weekend? None without my authorization, I say. And if I authorize anything, it will be mine. Through the open window, a diesel thrum idles down. A mover van nose with chrome crawls past the cottage. The driver slows, leans toward the passenger window. Saturday still on? He calls, cheerful like he's offering balloons. I haven't hired you, I say. Backup buyers got us penciled, he says, tapping a clipboard. See you at 10, Mr. Adler. You won't, I say, and let the engine hum carry him away. Mr. Adler? Marla asks in my ear. Still here, I say. A van just tried to narrate my weekend. I'll note that, she says, and her keys resume their reign. Okay, I've confirmed you as the account owner. I see a hold placed after a third-party report. Lift it, I say, and make a note that I, and only I, control wires. I can lift the fraud hold now, she says. For wires, I can pre-clear a window for Saturday morning in case you need to move funds to cover authorized services. No action occurs without your explicit confirmation during that window. Pre-clear the window, I say. No automatic movement. Understood, she pauses. You'll see a banner. One moment. While I wait, the phone buzzes with Brooke's name and a text that thinks it's a safety pamphlet. If you're confused, the bank can help with automatic transfers. Please don't make this harder. A second bubble lands before the first settles. APS evaluates today. They're trained to see when someone is in over their head. Confusion is your costume, not my condition, I type, then delete the flourish and send. I'm clear. I consent to my decisions. She replies, this is for your own good. Then, be cooperative. Say yes to help. The phone gives a single calendar ping. 3 p.m. APS, then goes quiet. I don't open it. The whistle's metal catches a triangle of noon light and throws it onto the island like a small flag. Mr. Adler? Marla returns. Please open your app. I swipe and the home screen brightens. Across the top, a neat ribbon unfurls. The single proof I wanted. Hold released. I don't hunt for codes. I don't scroll. I let the words be the whole tide chart. See it? She asks. I see it, I say. My pen fills the tiny square on the notepad. Wire pre-clear is set to Saturday 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. No wire will move without your voice authorization, plus device confirmation. Good. Note also that no third party, including family, is permitted to initiate or confirm on my behalf. Done, she says. I'm adding, customer requests identity verification on any future calls regarding capacity or welfare. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to document? Yes, I say. That this call occurred today, that I'm calm, and that I understand what you just said. I'll note demeanor, calm and oriented. Anything further, your attorney can subpoena the recording if needed. That's enough, I say. You release the hold. I own the switch Brooke calls. I let it run to voicemail. A text follows. Don't play games with the bank. The movers have a schedule. Backup buyer expects professionalism. Another. If APS asks about finances, tell them I help. I type. Money isn't power. Authority is knowing which switch you own. I don't hit send. I slide the draft into the trash and answer with a smaller truth. I'll speak for myself. The mover van's backup beep pulses 2 blocks away like a clock that picked its own job. On cue, Marla returns. Follow-up email will reflect the hold release and pre-clear window, she says. No codes in the subject, just a summary. That works, I say. My attorney doesn't collect codes, he collects results. Good luck on your Saturday, she says, and the line softens in a way that says she heard more than policy. After we hang up, I hold the phone above the screen and take a single photo, the banner and nothing else. I drop it into the folder labeled Bank, Hold Release, and close the app. The notepad gets one more line. Wire window queued, voice plus device required. I circle it once, then cap the pen. Outside, tires hiss on sand left by the last high tide. Brooke's SUV ghosts past the corner. A text, APS 300, be agreeable. They'll see how tired you are. I set the phone face down and rest my palm on the whistle. It's cool. So am I. Heart pulse. Money isn't power. Authority is knowing which switch you own. I step onto the porch to breathe air the bank can't measure. 2 kids ride by on bikes, call out a hello that doesn't sound like a verdict. The mover van's driver, looping back, points at me like we're already cast. See you at 10, he says again, proud of the line. You won't, I say, not loud, just accurate. My phone vibrates on the island, Peterson's voicemail. Forward the hold release confirmation only. No extra screenshots. Good job, I send him the one image, then pocket the phone. It buzzes again. A PS. Reminder, wellness check today 3 p.m. I let the buzz finish out and don't tap. The magnet on the fridge holds the first reminder steady. The second can hum and die on glass. I look back at the banner one more time, hold released, and then let the screen go dark. The house is quiet but for the fridge and the sea, and a far-off beep pretending it's in charge. A PS arrives at 2:58, right on the dot of their text. A woman in a county windbreaker steps from a white sedan and looks like she's practiced neutral in a mirror. I'm Carter, she says. Adult Protective Services. We're here for a welfare check. We, Brooke says, materializing from her SUV with a tote and a breathy smile. I'm his daughter. Thank you for prioritizing. He's been overwhelmed. I'm Tom, I say. You can check food, meds, utilities, trip hazards. You can't adjudicate a sale. Carter nods. We don't do civil disputes. We assess safety and capacity. May we come inside? On my porch, I say. You can see what you need from here. Brooke's smile flickers. He gets combative. I get specific, I say. Carter takes out a small notebook. Mr. Adler, any recent falls? No. Or confusion operating appliances? I label what needs labels. Fridge is stocked. Meds are set. Monday through Sunday. She peers over my shoulder at the kitchen. The neat row of eggs, the soup, the card with Dr. Singh's info squared under a magnet. Who manages your finances? I do. I tilt the phone so she can see the banner without taking a picture. Hold released. And I asked my bank to note that voice and device authorization are required. Okay, she checks a box. Any concerns about someone taking advantage of you? Yes, I say. Brooke tisks softly. He's tired. He doesn't mean it like that. I mean it exactly like that, I say. Down the path, Pete hesitates by the gate, then stops when he sees Carter's badge. He lifts 2 fingers in a small salute and stays put. Neighbors drift into a loose half moon, porch sitters who forgot how to pretend not to watch. The air smells like diesel and sunscreen. "Mr. Adler," Carter says, "can you show me you have access?" "My door? My gate?" I nod to the post where the keypad lives. We walk down the path together. The whistle cord snags against my collarbone. I ease it free and let it lie flat. I punch the 4 numbers I've used for 7 years. The keypad light flashes red and gives an angry buzz. I try again, slower. Red. Buzz. Carter writes without drama. "Your code isn't working?" "It worked Tuesday." An HOA security guard I've never seen ambles up, palms out. "Sir, management asked us to temporarily suspend certain codes until things are clarified. Should be back tomorrow." "Who asked?" I say. "Management," he repeats, wishing his vocabulary were bigger. Carter looks from him to me. "This is a civil matter. I can't order a gate opened." Brooke angles closer, phone tilted hip-high like it's listening. "He loses things," she says to Carter. "I had to standardize access for safety." "Safety doesn't start with my lock," I say. A locksmith van noses into view and idles. The driver leans out like he did last night. "We still set for tomorrow?" "Not with my consent," I say. Brooke lifts her phone to her ear, turns a fraction away, and speaks with all the quiet clarity of a performance meant to be overheard. "Hi. Yes, it's Brooke. Confirm. Do not give him keys. We're in transition and a PS is on site. Liability. Yes. Tomorrow is a civil standby with the sheriff." Carter's pen pauses. "Ma'am, we don't direct locksmiths." "I'm simply protecting the property," she says. "Keys are possession," I say. "Possession requires consent." Carter faces me again. "Any gas leaks? Stove safety issues?" "No." She tracks the porch, rails intact, steps even, a single extension cord coiled and fastened. "Any firearms in the house?" "No." "Alcohol misuse?" "Not my sport." She checks another box. "Mr. Adler, do you know today's date and who the president is?" I answer both without editorial. She nods. "Do you feel threatened in your home?" "I feel pressured outside it," I say, and let my eyes drift to the half circle of neighbors who don't meet them. Inside, I'm fine. "Good." Carter closes the notebook. "From what I see, food, meds, utilities, orientation, appropriate. I have no immediate safety concerns today." Brooke's voice goes soft enough to bruise. He holds it together for strangers. Later, he forgets the stove. "I eat soup," I say. "It boils and then I turn it off." "We'll note your concerns," Carter tells Brooke, even and fair. "But property disputes and keys are civil, not APS." Brooke smiles like she's been vindicated anyway. "Thanks for coming. He'll cooperate tomorrow." "I'll attend my forum tomorrow," I say. The security guard shifts, glancing at a text he shouldn't have looked at on duty. "I'm supposed to post a notice," he mutters to Carter, then to me. "I'm just following orders." "Go ahead," I say. "If there's paper, it belongs on my gate, not in your pocket." He tapes a white sheet to the post. The tape squeaks. My eyes take in only what matters. The single line printed like a sentence waiting for a judge. "Access suspended. Effective Friday 5 p.m. I don't read the smaller text that talks about through Saturday 10 a.m. because one cue is enough to hold the bruise. Carter watches the tape lay flat. "I need to be clear," she says. "We don't enforce that. We're concluding the welfare check. I'll log that no immediate safety issue was observed. Please add that my code failed," I say, "and that an HOA representative said temporary without authority." "I'll write what I observed," she says. "No adjectives." Brooke speaks into her phone again, voice turned to glass. "Yes, sheriff's civil standby is queued for tomorrow morning. We'll keep it calm." She looks at Carter. "We'll make this smooth." Carter tucks her pen away. "Mr. Adler, if you feel unsafe later, you can call law enforcement. APS won't come back for keys." "I understand," I say. She nods once and leaves, the sedan rolling away without siren or apology. The half-moon of neighbors leaks back into doorways like the tide giving up on a shoreline graffiti. Pete starts forward, stops, respects the game. Heart pulse, cornered isn't finished. It's where you breathe smaller and aim. Brooke steps close enough that I can see the reflection of my porch in her sunglasses. This is evolving beyond you, she whispers. Let the professionals transition you. I am the professional, I say quiet. At my life. She tilts her head toward the notice. Paper's already up. Gate code is down. Movers at 10. Sheriff will keep it polite. Polite isn't lawful, I say. Lawful is what we say in rooms that sign, she says, and backs away, satisfied like a person settling a picture that finally hangs straight. The security guard gives me an apologetic shrug and walks off. The notice flaps once, catches, and holds. I pull it free, smooth the edges, fold it into thirds along its own logic, and slide it into my folder. Brooke's voice trails like perfume for a camera that might or might not be there. Sheriff's civil standby is queued for tomorrow, she murmurs. I say nothing. I keep the notice. The locksmith arrives at 9:12, a compact man with forearms like braided rope and a toolbox that clicks open like a sentence you can't unsay. His shirt says Coastal Lock and Key. His eyes say he hates being where feelings live. Morning, he offers to the threshold, neutral as a level. Work order says re-key, Brooke answers from the bottom step, already in a soft voice calibrated for an audience. Standardization for safety. He glances to me. Sir? You don't have my consent, I say. He lifts both palms. I'm here to inspect and follow my dispatch. Deputy? The squad car noses to the curb on a sigh. A deputy steps out, settles his hat, and wears the kind of face you put on for weddings and wrecks. Morning, he says, civil standby. Which means, I ask. We keep the peace, he says. We don't decide possession. Useful line, I say. Brooke brightens as if someone announced she'd won something small. We're coordinating a safe transition. Dad's upset. We're doing this kindly. I'm not upset, I say. I'm specific. A mover crew unloads dollies and straps, their boots whispering across the driveway gravel. The porch wall clock says 9:37 a.m., hands sharp, second hand making a little tick that sounds smug today. Brooke lifts her phone. We're live, she murmurs, not to me, to the rectangle. Helping parents downsize responsibly, she cuts her eyes at the locksmith like he's part of a sponsored segment. He slides a pick into the keyway. The tiny click is clean and private. The island of my kitchen holds steady behind the glass. The neat row of eggs, the pot lid catching a little sun. The whistle hangs on its hook within his working frame. I touch it once with 2 fingers, then let it hang. The deputy taps his chest. Double beep. Body cam on, he says for the record. Recording for safety. Again, we don't determine possession. We're here till 10. 10 o'clock, Brooke echoes, sweet as warning. I look past them to the ocean. A sheet of hammered light, gulls writing sloppy cursive against it. I can't outshout a crowd. I can outlast a tide. Sir, the locksmith says, I'm going to continue. If you want to register objection, you just did. Objection stands, I say. From the sidewalk, 2 neighbors narrate each other. It's safer inland, one says. He should let her handle it, the other answers, like I'm not present tense. Brooke's voice gains a gloss only microphones make. We've got backup buyers ready, but first we're making Dad safe. If you've ever had to do this for family, you know. You don't get custody of my competence, I say. She lowers the phone half an inch, enough to pretend she's off air. Then cooperate, Dad. Let professionals address hazards. Starting with my lock, I say. Starting with everything, she says, and smiles like compromise. The deputy stations himself at the steps, hands clasped, eyes moving. We'll keep it calm, he repeats, as if words can fence a morning. The locksmith pauses. This cylinder's been busy, he says to the air. Feels like yesterday. I didn't ask for it, I say. Dispatch doesn't tell me who asked, he says, and that's an honest sentence, even if it helps me not at all. One of the movers wheels a dolly to the porch edge, then backs it off when the deputy lifts a finger. Not till 10, the deputy says, voice soft but iron. We're strictly observed till then. Fair, the mover says. The word sounds borrowed. Brooke angles a step closer to the camera, and whatever people she believes are inside it. He's nostalgic today, she says. This is going to be better. Nostalgia is for postcards, I say. This is possession. A gull yells like a child who wants the ocean to hand back everything it took. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I don't look. The clock on the wall ratchets toward 9:42. A neighbor I talked to float last July now pretends to discuss sunscreen with his wife. Their eyes keep leaking toward the porch. Dad, Brooke says, private tone, public posture. Just hand me your keys. We'll standardize and reduce risk. You're not my risk, I say. She smiles. Then prove it by cooperating. That's not how proof works, I say. The deputy glances at me, sympathy edged with limits. Sir, best thing is to stay verbal. No stepping into anyone's space. I won't, I say. My space is already inside that door. Brooke nods to the locksmith as if she's his supervisor. You're doing great, she says. He doesn't answer. Pics don't care about praise. Streams at 1400, she adds more to herself. Hi, folks. Remember to follow for caregiver tips. I let the sentence blow past like spray. Heart pulse. I can't outshout a crowd. I can outlast a tide. The locksmith's tension wrench makes a tiny mic drop noise. He exhales. Give me 2 minutes. Take your time, Brooke says. We're not rushing him. You posted 10 o'clock, I say. That's compassionate structure, she says. Dad, this will be over soon. Not the way you think, I say. A mover with a beard I don't trust leans to another, stage whisper. We lift the grill first. Not if you like your back, I say without looking, and the line startles a laugh out of him he didn't plan to give me. The deputy checks his watch. Civil standby till 10, he says again, the way you remind a line not to forget itself. My phone buzzes once more. I pull it out, half to stop the noise, and catch a banner. Pastor Reyes, 7 p.m., still on. I don't open it. I slide the phone back down. Is that the pastor? Brooke asks, narrowing her eyes like that's disqualifying. That's a room with rules, I say. We have rules, she says, gesturing at the deputy like he's her bullet point. He has boundaries, I say. They're different. The locksmith lifts his face, eyes tired. Ma'am, sir, almost there. Wonderful, Brooke says, then to her phone. If you're just joining, this is what responsible looks like. We're keeping Dad safe with help from professionals. Professional at what? I ask. Preventing falls, she says. Preventing confusion. I tilt my head. Preventing consent? Her smile freezes 1 degree. The deputy shifts his weight, looks at the porch clock again. 9:53. A neighbor whispers, 7 minutes, like it's a magic spell. Sir, the deputy says quietly to me, off the record in tone if not in camera. If you need to leave the immediate area to cool off, I can walk with you and back. I'm cool, I say. I'm not the one with a timer. He nods once, accepting that answer even if it gives him no comfort. The locksmith's pick ticks in a way I've learned means thumbs up in his language. He tests the knob with a patient hand and the door gives him a half-inch. He stops there, looks to the deputy. We're observe only, the deputy says. No entry before 10. Copy, the locksmith says, and steps back like he's leaving a fish on a line. Brooke beams, half to him, half to her phone. See? Everything is smoother with help. Dad, hand me your keys so I can finish the standardization. I'm not handing you my name, I say. Keys are just the metal. She leans in, the sunglasses catching my door in a perfect, awful reflection. You're making this messy, she whispers. 10 o'clock is a kindness. Kindness asks, I say. It doesn't foreclose. Someone coughs a laugh and pretends it was a sneeze. The deputy clears his throat back to neutral. We're here to keep the peace till 10, he says, voice raised just enough to reset the scene. Brooke checks her watch like an actor hitting a mark. 10 o'clock, she announces, bright. The locksmith's tools rest in his hand like a pause between words. The movers hover. The neighbors lean. The ocean keeps being the only thing not impressed by any of us. My phone buzzes again in my pocket. 7 p.m. still on, and I let it buzz itself out as I look over everyone's heads at water that remembers more storms than we do. I put my hand on the whistle and take it off without lifting it from the hook. We stand there with the clock counting louder than voices. The deputy, the only metronome anyone obeys. The HOA community room smells like folding chairs and dusted donuts. Ruth lifts the gavel. "Forum convened," she says. 7 p.m. The mic gives a quick squeal. The projector flickers, catches, holds. Ruth doesn't blink. "We'll proceed." I set my whistle on the table, not around my neck. I don't need volume, just daylight. Ruth's eyes sweep the room. "Ground rules. We are not a court. We will host a live county lookup on the projector. We will read what exists. No speeches." She nods to the clerk at the laptop. "Parcel number?" "Entered," the clerk says. Brooke sits front row, phone in her lap like a rosary. Her smile is the one you wear when you think the ending's written. Behind her, neighbors, the buyer's agent, two of my rescue alumni, Pastor Reyes along the wall, and the deputy by the door, hat in his hands. Ruth gestures. "Mr. Adler." I stand, keep it one line at a time. "Please search recorded instruments for my parcel." Keys clack. The county page populates, gray and plain. The clerk scrolls. The board member squints and reads exactly what the room needs to hear, not a word more. Instrument 2019-31784. Life Estate Deed, recorded August 12, 2019. The room inhales like one body. Ruth leans toward the screen. "Read it again," she says. The board member repeats. "Life Estate Deed, recorded August 12, 2019. Brooke's smile misfires. "That's outdated," she says quickly. "Things change, if the deed is old." "Live site, live record," Ruth says. "If it changed, we'd see it." She nods to the clerk. "Scroll." The clerk skims the abstract. Ruth lifts a hand. "Stop. Summary only." To the room. "A life estate vests present possessory rights in the life tenant. No transfer of possession without the life tenant's consent." The buyer's agent goes pale in a way I recognize from ocean rescues. "We were told, as is, vacant. If possession can't transfer." She swallows the rest and edges toward the door like gravity changed. Brooke's phone tilts higher. "There's also a conservation thing, but it's optional. We can..." Ruth raises a palm. "Clerk? Instrument 2020-11206. Conservation easement." The clerk says, not putting it on the screen, just reading the line. "Recorded. Educational use enumerated." Ruth nods, satisfied. "Recorded. On the record." She looks at me. "Anything else, Mr. Adler?" "Yes," I say. I tap the laptop I brought, not the projector. I cue the uncut memorial video to the point Brooke trimmed and turn the screen so the front row can see. My voice stays even. "You circulated and edit. Here's the sentence whole." On the tiny speakers, my own voice fills the first rows. "I can't do this forever, so I built systems that outlast me." Brooke's face slides a half-inch towards something human. "I didn't, Dad, Context. I keep it disciplined. You tried to sell a caption. The record doesn't transfer." Ruth taps her gavel. One polite knock. "We will not debate edits. We have record." Pastor Reyes lifts one finger. Ruth nods. He gives his allowed single line, clean as a rung on a ladder. "This house trains kids not to fight water. The easement matches the mission." One alum steps up, holding a framed photo like a credential. "We learned rescue drills on that deck," she says. "Educational use isn't decoration." The deputy speaks from the door, simple as weather. "Movers are staged only." He keys his radio. "Hold position." The buyer's agent whispers into her phone, then to Ruth, audible enough. "We can't deliver clear title. We'll advise escrow to void." Ruth inclines her head, then faces Brooke. "Ms. Adler Hale, you notified neighbors and vendors of a move-out without a path to possession. You also contacted APS." Brooke's eyes shine in a way that isn't strategy. I thought, I wanted. He seems so tired. Ruth keeps it administrative. You will correct your statements. On mic. Now Brooke stands on legs that forgot their choreography. She faces the room, then the phone she brought, then the floor. Her voice comes out thin and true. I'm sorry, she says. I edited my dad unfairly. I told vendors and friends a story that wasn't the record. I retract it. She looks at me like she used to when she was 6 and tangled in a kite string. I'm sorry, Dad. Boundary, I say, my mouth dry but steady. Here's how we go forward. You'll post the uncut sentence. You'll withdraw APS concerns in writing. You'll serve 50 hours with Pastor's Surf Safety Group, and you'll put in writing that you understand the life estate and easement and that you won't attempt transfer again. She nods once, twice, then more like her neck wants to be done with this. Okay, she whispers. Okay. Ruth's gavel lands properly now. Record stands, she says. Possession remains with the life tenant. Movers stand down. She looks to the deputy. Copy, he says into his radio. Outside, a dolly clacks as it's folded instead of used. Ruth returns to business. We will notify escrow tonight of the forum's findings and the implication for title and possession. She nods to the clerk. Minutes will reflect the live lookup and the statements made on the record. The chat in Brooke's lap flips. I can see it in the way her shoulders fall. The buyer's agent slips out, shoes quiet on the waxed floor. Ruth looks back to me. Anything further, Mr. Adler? I pick up the whistle, set it back down. No more noise from me. Heart pulse. I didn't need volume, just daylight. The room's hush is the sound of weather changing. For the first time in a week, I can hear the air move without someone narrating it. Brooke keeps staring at the mic like it bit her. Ruth adjourns. The gavel taps out the last beat. Forum closed, she says. Good night. I gather my folder, feel the weight shift to where it belongs, and step back as the deputy holds the door for nobody in particular. The ocean outside keeps its own counsel. By the time I get home, the house smells like clean night air and old coffee that forgot it's done. I set the leather folder on the island, hang the whistle back on its hook, and let the quiet settle the way sand does after a wake. Peterson calls on the first ring. Tom, title confirmed the forum minutes. Buyer's agent pulled the offer. I've asked escrow for formal cancellation and notified the HOA council. Gate access? Already in motion, he says. Vendors queuing a restore. Expect it within the hour. And Dr. Singh's letter? In the file. No impairment impeding consent. Keep it off social. We only surface it if someone tries the capacity angle again. Understood. Minimal paper from here, he adds. Ruth is filing the minutes. I'll send you the single confirmation you actually need tonight. Thank you, I say. He pauses. You did well. Stay boring for 48 hours. Boring's my favorite weather, I say, and we hang up. A soft tap at the porch rail. It's the neighbor who pretended to discuss sunscreen this morning. He holds a small plate under foil. Didn't feel right to wave and not say it, he says. We got swept up. Surf does that, I say. He nods, eyes on the hook where the whistle hangs. We'll be at the workshop, 10 sharp. 10 sharp, I say, and take the plate. The foil crinkles. The wind moves the doorway curtain like someone changed their mind and left. Back in the kitchen, I put the plate down next to the phone. The stove clock says 8:46 p.m. The fridge hums like a well-fed animal. My phone buzzes with a voicemail from Ruth. Minutes filed. Agenda closed. Sleep. I smile into the stainless steel. The phone buzzes again. I swipe. Peterson's email subject line sits like a stamp you can't peel up. Escrow canceled. Unable to deliver clear title. I don't open the body. One cue is enough. The stove clock flips to 8:47 p.m. Heart pulse. Winning felt like quiet, not thunder. Brooke's name lights the screen. I answer, keep my voice even. I posted the correction, she says, small. Uncut sentence, life estate, easement. I called APS and withdrew my concerns. She inhales. I'll do the hours with Pastor. Tell me when to show up. Next Saturday, I say. 10 a.m. You'll pass out beach maps, not speeches. Okay. A beat. Can we Have a future conversation? About us? We can talk when the hours are halfway done, I say, and only about logistics or the program. Boundaries first. She's quiet. I know I hurt you. You hurt my name, I say. The fix is public work. I'll show up, she says. Good. Keep the apology public and the access private. I understand. Good night, Brooke. Good night, Dad. I end the call and set the phone face down. The whistle catches a line of lamplight and throws it back without drama. A second buzz. Text from the guard on evening rounds. Code restored. Please test. I pocket the keys and walk out into a night that smells like low tide and the thing after fear. At the gate, the new moon floats like an unpunctuated sentence. I press the 4 numbers I've used for 7 years. The keypad blinks green and gives a clean, agreeable click. The latch releases. I stand there with my hand on the metal and let the sound land all the way in. On the way back to the porch, I stop at the community corkboard by my steps, slide out the old fish fry card, and pin up a fresh one I printed this afternoon. Rip Current Workshop. Next Saturday, 10 a.m. The pushpin makes a small, satisfying pop. Inside, I wipe the island, put the neighbor's cookies on a plate, and set one beside the calendar. The house feels like itself. No narration, no countdown, just the usual noises that never asked for an audience. I open the door again and watch the dark for one long breath. The ocean keeps its own counsel, and tonight I get to keep mine. Night comes easy again. Patience beat the storm. I kept my beach house by doing what I teach. Angle out, breathe, then show the record. Brooke will learn beside the kids, one tide at a time. I hang the old rescue whistle where it belongs and let it settle with a small, honest click. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. Type 1 if you resonate with this story.